Mr. Speaker, I've got three of them up here. I hope I don't need quite all of them. I hope I don't get emotional at this. But I want to thank you, Speaker, that you didn't make me go after Representative Kennard the other day. He did such a good job. It'd be like following Representative Al Williams. But it is somewhat bittersweet. Most of you have heard that I did not qualify to run for re-election. And some of you might say that I have never been qualified to run for election.
Not me.
When I did qualify, it was a calling. It was one of these last-minute deals, and I rushed to Atlanta. And honestly, I did not know what being qualified to run for office meant. So on the way up, I'm thinking of how many counties are there in the state? How many House reps are they? What are their terms? I was thinking of questions that, like an IQ test, to qualify to run for office. And I did not know if you had a pulse and $400, you were qualified for this job. It has been an honor to serve with you. Each of us makes sacrifices to play this role. Mine has been a shared one. My dad has held the farm together for almost 10 years while I served here. My mom kept me engaged in the community. You know how moms do. Clay, you need to be at this festival. Clay, you need to go to this meeting. Clay, you need to be involved. And my wife, Sharon, she kept our home intact. Lots of sacrifice while I was up here. And not one time did she complain. She's very supportive in my endeavors. And though my kids are now grown, it has been the honor of my life to be their dad. Andrew, Deanna, and Nathan. It's been of their future that I've endeavored to make better. I just got to get two of them back from Tennessee. Now, Miss Penny, when she gave her address, and she is such a wonderful ambassador for us, she was right. It is about the people. It's the people's house. It's the people's chamber. Servant of the people's voice. The thing I'll carry from this place is the people. Now, it was right here that Abby Day wrote that this is where I should say something great about her. So, Abby, it is G-R-E-A-T and not G-R-A-T-E. I'm kidding. I just wanted to mortify her. But seriously, Abby Day in Budget Research, she is the best. She makes me look smart in my budget area, and I got to tell you, that takes some doing. Abby, I will miss you. But I digress. I want to talk about the people here. We often get a bad rap. Often when you hear politician, I got to tell you, we are seen only slightly better than trial lawyers. Slightly better. Sorry, I had to do it. Tort reform's on my mind. But let me tell you, when I got here, so I didn't know anybody. The first time I came to the Capitol was the day I was sworn in. That was my first time. I knew nobody here. And so my first week here, I got a text. I was on a long text thread with some guys back home that I'm in a Bible study group with. And I don't know if you know about these old text threads, but I rarely respond to them because they're just aggravating, you know? Somebody and then somebody, and the phone just blows crazy. And so I responded so infrequently that they forgot I was on there. So I was up here, and my Bible study buddies sent a text around. Said, guys, you need to pray for Clay's mom and dad. Just sent an ambulance to their house. Well, it's the first I'd heard of it. So I immediately called my mom, called her phone. And my daughter was still visiting from Texas. And I said, baby, what's going on? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, darling, just kind of want to know what's going on, anything exciting happening around there. Because she answered my mom's phone. She said, who you talk to? And I said, darling, you're my daughter. I need to know what's going on at home. She said, well, Granny, that's my mom, has had a stroke. Slurring her words, can't move her right side. And she said, the ambulance is here. They're going to take her to the hospital. And I said, well, I'm on my way. And she said, Granny said not to come. She said, some of you got mamas like that. She said, she knows you're busy. And she didn't want to bother you. I said, well, darling, I'm a grown man. I get to decide when I come home and check on mama. So that's not up to you anymore. I didn't know. Honestly, I thought you might have to, like, punch a clock or something to get out of here and go home. Had no idea. And so I saw a couple of people, and I said, listen, my mom's had a stroke. I'm headed home. And they said, of course that's what you should do. So what I did not know, they didn't know me, certainly didn't know Mom, but they began to gather in groups. To pray for my mom. I didn't know that. I took off, headed home, running probably a little fast. And I got most of the way home, and I called to check on my mama. And my daughter answered the phone again, and she said, you know, it's amazing that, so apparently this drug that they give you when you have a stroke, it's kind of art and science. It's kind of both. So there's a golden window that you got to put it in. And if you give too much, you bleed out. If you don't give enough, then the clot sets. So we don't have a neurologist in Tifton. So she was on one of these telemedicine or Zoom or some kind of call with Augusta. And in the call, before they gave her any medicine, the clot spontaneously dissolves. Now she could talk, she could move. Now she's mad as a wet setting hen that they won't let her go home. She's just mad now. And so I called back. I called Bruce back. He's one of the ones I talked to. I said, Bruce, listen, my mama's okay. I don't know. Clot is gone. She can talk. She's mad. She's great. And Bruce said, don't let anybody ever tell you that miracles don't happen. He said, he told me that they had joined together and began to pray for my mom. Touched me. He said, the fervent, effectual prayers of a righteous man availeth much. That is who I serve with. It's about the people. And you touch my heart. But it's more than that. It's about relationships. If the only people you interact with here look like you, vote like you, talk like you, you are missing a treat. For example, there's no one in this body that I have enjoyed sharing a meal with more than Representative Al Williams and Representative Mac Jackson, who is not in the chamber right now, might I add. And if you throw in Al's wife, Miss Olivia, you got a real treat. She is a sport. She actually sent me a picture of her infamous pink tool belt that I've got on my phone if you'd like to see it later. But she's got to be a sport if she's married to Representative Williams. But the stories they can tell, it is just fascinating, and it's wow. Secondly, it's a little known fact that Representative Long Tran, and not Whip Park, is actually the stunt driver in this body. He actually is a real-life stunt driver and a wonderful guy. Representative Demetrius Douglas in the back. Few people know this. He has a smile that's actually wider than his face. Particularly when he embarrasses you while you're in the well. Weed Owl he showed me some thank you notes that some students that had been up here in a debate the other day, and one of the top highlights was the britches comment that Representative Douglas bantered back and forth. But I love him, and I'm grateful that he likes me enough to pick at me a bit. Representative John Corbett's one of my closest friends here. And he is the top bill signer in this body. He can't say no. If you look at the number of bills he's co-signed, he is the top bill signer in this body. And he's the second best fisherman in the boat when he's fishing with Laricia. So says Dominic. In fact, during COVID, they spent so much time down at Lake Eufaula, they could have voted in the local sheriff's race down there. Representative Jody Lott came in with me, and we're going out at the same time. She is special. She also happens to be the only member of my coffee crew that I had never voted against a measure she had brought. Thankfully, last week, I was able to rectify that with a no vote in committee on a bill that she brought that I just didn't like. Speaking of coffee crew, so we get here between 5 and 7 every morning. 5, John Corbett, 7, Jody Lott. We discuss upcoming bills and debate strongly the issues that will make this state better. Representative Todd Jones is a member of that crew. He's an entrepreneur. He's an attorney. In fact, he hid that fact from the speaker for years because he didn't want to be on judiciary. Amen. He is a kind, trustworthy, and I got to tell you, incredibly intense man who also happens to be the brightest light in any room. Speaking of bright lights, Representative Ridley. He can be a tad bit rough around the edges, but he has a passion for Murray County and North Georgia mountains that permeates his every being. And he does study the bills. He called last night talking about a bill that will be heard in committee this week. I will miss him. These reps that I mentioned are not nearly all of the characters in this body. I mean, not when you've got Representative Alan Powell and Rick Jaspers amongst your members. The Speaker and the Pro Tem have both been very kind to me and allowed me to grow in roles that quite honestly might have been beyond my ability. But Terry England, the bottles are for him, is a special man to me. He took a chance on me to handle, I think, the most important part of the budget. And he gave me rope with which to fashion. Chairman Hatchett as well. We've got characters all over. Many of you, as I look over this body, have made a positive impact on me. But these examples that I showed, they show us that we have strength in our difference. From the Florida line to the North Georgia mountains, from the most rural to the most urban, one party to the other. The relationships that you cultivate serve to make this great state a better place to live, work, and raise our families. It's about people, man, it's about relationships. That's what I'll miss. I'm pretty sure I've not agreed with everybody and on everything with each of the representatives that I've mentioned today. But in establishing friendships, we can agree that we can disagree and work toward the common goal of making our state better. My heart is full from serving with you. Thank you for investing in me. God bless you.
Thank you, members, for your attention. Representative Clay Pirkle, you certainly are a man of the House. There's no doubt about that. You're a man of the soil. There's no doubt about that. You're a family man. You love your children. Most importantly, you love your mama and daddy, but you're also a man of God. We love you and appreciate you, and we want you back anytime you want to join us. We thank you for your service. Godspeed.